Hello everyone, and good day to you. This is Roger Deering, the creator of Dungeon Crusade and the Avalon Adventure board game with Groovis Games Unlimited, and welcome to this video where we are going to discuss the 5 phases that comprise a churn in Dungeon Crusade. So, as I said, I hope you guys are doing good. Welcome. I hope that you're enjoying this pretty exciting Kickstarter we have with the reprint of the Avalon Adventure board game and Dungeon Crusade. So again, just thank you for your time, interest, excitement, and possible support with it. Before we get going, if there's anything you guys want to know, I'm sure you can see I'm right here, and I love chatting with you, getting to know people, and tell you anything I can about the game to help you out. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into this of the 5 phases that comprise a churn in Dungeon Crusade. And we're going to be using, you'll see her pop up, our very lovely Battle Mage hero, Lyrena Nightweave. You'll see her on the chart as we go through the phases. But before we begin, and like I've said throughout this, and those other Crusaders, those veteran Crusaders will back this up. Yes, Dungeon Crusade is very girthy. It's an open world dungeon crawl board game. But hopefully you're seeing that the mechanics are quite easy to understand and retain. There's nothing complex about it. It's just very big and immersive, and that's what I was out to do for people. So we're going to begin talking about the 5 phases and briefly going over all of them. And also know that here is our quick reference cards for the game, and this card right here goes over the 5 phases of a churn, and then this one is dedicated for the hero phase because it's an open world dungeon crawl game, and there's a lot of very fun things you can do with your heroes during the hero phase. So I just want to let you know that Dungeon Crusade does come with these, and of course, if you haven't already, please download our quick reference guide for the game. And you'll see right here on the one page, this just goes right through all of the phases of a churn. So it's this very quick, not very wordy, and you'll get it just from this. But if you watch this video, you're going to fully understand, how all this works. And as we are discussing the 5 phases, I want you to keep something in mind. As a game designer or creator, and from someone who's played these games and has a serious passion for it since I was very young to now, my job is to always keep the player engaged, keep them having fun, throw surprises at them. So that's what I went at when I started designing this game. Dungeon crawls, we want that element of surprise. So through the upkeep phase, definitely the encounter phase, the guardian phase, hero phase, monster phase, every phase is very unique. So you're going to see different things happening in each phase, and it has that, what's going to happen next? Well, one more churn. And that's one thing that I think is very exciting about this game, because even as the creator, I don't know what's going to happen next in this game. So while you're going through your quest cards, and remember, there's level 1 quest, level 2, level 3, and that's in direct correlation over there to those quest tables we were talking about in the intro. You're going to be learning about these NPCs in the land of Avalon, good and bad factions, and everything that's kind of going on, and what your heroes have to achieve through the stories. But then every time you play, there's like this, it's random. While the dungeon is static, everything that goes into this dungeon is random each game. So you're going to see that there's like this, what do I want to say, like this unique narrative that each time you play, definitely with the encounter phase, it's almost creates a story each time you play. Okay, so let's get on with the upkeep phase. I'm going off of the quick reference guide, so if you have that downloaded, you can, of course, follow along at home. So the first thing you're going to process in the upkeep phase, which is, of course, at the top of a churn, any afflictions that a hero has. There's many different type of afflictions, but as of right now in the game, there's 2 that you're going to have to process at the top of a churn. So if we look at Sir Brennus here, our knight hero, he has a physical affliction, and it's a 1st degree, and this is bleeding. And quite simple, he's going to lose 1 health at the start of each upkeep phase. And you'll see in the other videos how heroes can get afflictions. But real quick, how do you cure afflictions? The bazaar sells elixir potions for 100 gold. So as soon as a hero consumes one of these, it rids them of all afflictions. So heroes could have multiple afflictions, but as soon as they quaff one of these down, all afflictions, they're rid of all afflictions. So I wanted to give you that little pro Crusader tip. Over here, Enwyn Shadowleaf, our archer hero, unfortunately, she has been poisoned. And quite simply, right here, she's going to lose 1 essence at the start of every upkeep phase. And your essence bar, remember, is right here. That's their essence bar, and they use that to cast special abilities. And right here is her health track. So health and essence bar. And going right down the list in our quick reference guide, the next thing that you're going to do is test torches. So we can see here Zeke, our wizard hero, and Palum, our rogue hero, have 2 lit torches. And very simple, you're going to roll 1d12 for each one. This is a chance that the torch could go out. A torch gives a hero +2 to their base movement. So over here, we're going to roll for Zeke. And that is a 2. So his torch went out. On a result of 1 to 2, the torch does go out. As a side note, whenever your heroes consume a potion, or in this case the torch went out, you're going to go over to that village board and set this to the side of it. On the first celebration day, these are refreshed. So think of it as the bazaar has created additional potions and torches. So you'll refresh those and put them back in the bazaar. So we're going to test Palum's torch here. Okay, and her torch stays lit for the forthcoming churn. The next thing you're going to do in the upkeep phase is unchannel any special abilities. So let me explain what channeling is. When a hero spends essence to use one of their special abilities, more times than not, you're going to have to channel it. And that just simply means turn it upside down. So like if you ever played Magic the Gathering, you tap a card, exhaust a card. It's the same thing, but channeling is just unique to Dungeon Crusade. And let me point something out for you. And in the other videos, we're going to get more in depth. I don't want to get off track here. But right here, this is the essence cost that a hero has to spend, remember their essence bar, to use a special ability. And then notice this red arrow. What that means is this has to be channeled. So Maheliak, our barbarian, oops, I'm sorry, I had that mixed around there. So Maheliak, here for his frenzied charge, after he casts it, this has to be channeled. Turn it upside down. In upkeep phase, turn it back, right side up, so they can use it for the forthcoming turn. Some special abilities will have a green arrow pointing up, and that simply means this never has to be channeled. It can be used over and over again as long as that essence is paid to use that special ability. So just remember, upkeep phase, unchannel cards, and the hero's essence bar, that's where you spend to use special abilities. And we'll turn this up for Faith, our cleric. It's the start of a new turn, so she can use Blessing once again. And finally, this is one of my favorite parts of the game, and I think many others. We are going to place the initiative tokens on the hero cards. These are the initiative tokens, and notice they're numbered 1 through 6. So let me explain to you what's going to go on with this. Depending on what the dungeon looks like, and I assure you from turn to turn, this is going to change. So that strategy and that planning and the tactics you had, more than likely is going to change, because remember, the monsters are using the patrol route system with unpredictable movement patterns. So that plan you had might go completely different depending on what's going to happen in the dungeon. So at this part of the upkeep, you're going to take these initiative tokens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And since you have 6 heroes, you're going to place these on how you want to move them in the hero phase. And why I like this is that, you know, you're going to survey the dungeon. I like to sit back. This is kind of like the strategy part of the game. What do you want to achieve with your heroes? Maybe you want one hero to go open some treasure chests. Maybe you want another hero to go do some mining. Maybe you're going to be, you know, take a few heroes to go into a chamber to look for a quest item. There's just so many things you can do because it's an open world dungeon crawl game. So depending on, you know, what your game is or what I'm playing or whatever, that's what you're going to use these for. So I'm just going to put these down for now, and, you know, I don't want to keep you because I could come up with some kind of strategy, but quite simply I'll say, okay, you know what, with Sir Brennus, our knight hero, I'm going to place initiative token 1 on his hero card, and we're going to go look for a quest item up in the spider lair. That's way up there in the north, like that purple area. But I'm going to send Zeke, our wizard, with him. So I'm going to give him initiative token 2. And then right down here with Enwyn, there's a treasure chest nearby. So I'm going to use initiative token 3, and I'm going to place this on her hero card. So she will activate 3rd. So on and so forth. And one thing I want you to keep in mind, and you're going to notice is, you know, you have your heroes doing all these different things in the dungeon. And it's very exciting. It's almost like, you know, what's going to happen next? And you have these two heroes up in the spider lair, and you have Enwyn opening up a treasure chest, and maybe Mahaliak and Palum, a rogue hero, are going to be your guardian hunters. And see Bainvik way up there in the corner. Maybe they're going to go try to take him down. My point is there's all these like little episodes happening all over the dungeon, and it's just one of the most fun parts of the game. Before we wrap up the upkeep phase, I want to let you see something here on the back of these initiative tokens, and something that was paramount to me in creating Dungeon Crusade. On the reverse side, you're going to see Rally. And one thing I wanted to address with Dungeon Crusade is true party building. And I think a lot of games kind of lack that. You really have to think about what heroes to partner with other heroes. Because remember, there's 6 warfare types. So, you know, like Zeke, your wizard hero, he's very strong with arcane warfare. But he's not very good in chaos warfare. But Mahaliak over there, your barbarian, excels at chaos warfare, but he's not good at all in arcane warfare because he's a barbarian. So you would want to rally those two heroes together, and they have a great chance of taking down different types of monsters because they're partied together and they kind of complement each other and build on each other's strength and weaknesses. So that's kind of like, in a way I've said, it's like a thinking man's dungeon crawl game. And this is just one of the most fun parts of the game, is just laying out your strategy, looking over the dungeon, you know, surveying it, and what you want to achieve for the forthcoming turn. The last thing in upkeep phase that I want to touch on, and we're not going to get too much into this because this is in the how to play Dungeon Crusade video that's within this Kickstarter. Remember we were talking about the quest tables here? So if our heroes were working on the level 1 quest tables, notice that all the books are closed. They're cleared. Our Elder Globe is now glowing green. So there's purity in the dungeon. That signals Celebration Day is going to be happening in 3 turns. You're going to take a red marker and notice this teleport track here. You're going to place it on 3. So this is saying that the heroes have 3 more turns before they are teleported to the dungeon, or teleported from the dungeon to the village up there for the start of Celebration Day. So again, in the video series, we go really in depth with this, but I did want to touch on this for you. The next phase in a turn is the encounter phase. And I want to say right now, this right here is what creates that unique narrative each time you play. There are 87 unique encounters, and you create a deck of 40 encounter cards at different points of the game, so you're always going to see something new. So let's go over a few of these encounters, and what you do is you simply draw the top card and process whatever it is. There are 4 different kinds of encounters. So the first type is an interlude. And an interlude is just kind of like a breather for the heroes. Nothing is going to happen, so I wrote some flavor text, you know, kind of thematic of what's going on in the dungeon. And after you process a card, unless it's an environment, you discard it. Next up is an environment. Environments are going to change something in the game. It could be good, it could be bad. And that's something I want to say too. Please don't think that the encounter deck is something bad. There's actually very good things in here, but there are some bad things. So looking at this unique environment, it says, a blood red moon has risen over the dungeon. It is the night of the undead. When combating monsters with the undead racial trait, right down here, these monsters receive a +3 to all warfare values while this environment is in effect. So there's 5 different races in Dungeon Crusade. Of course, that's the undead. And the warfare values are on the monster cards. And we're going to be getting to that soon. So this right here, all monsters that are undead are going to gain +3 to all their warfare values. So that's an environment. Next up, one of my favorite things, and I'm not going to give you a spoiler with this, challenges. I absolutely love creating these. This is where you get to select one of your heroes, and there's going to be a challenge that they have to do. So in this example here, this hero has found this well with this chain coming out of it. What could be on the other side of that chain? You'll have to play the game and find out. So challenges, and then finally there are events. And events are good and bad. So we can see with this one right here, one of the heroes has discovered this beautiful fountain with blue water cascading into the basin, and it's healing waters. So this is a chance for them to regain some health. But remember, there are also some bad events in there. So that's a brief summary of the encounter phase and the encounter deck.